Hey, and welcome to the Weed Out, where we weed out the nonsense and talk about the bullshit happening in our backyard. I'm Spencer Fox Peterson, and joined as always with my co-host.
Hi everyone, I'm Joanna May Booty.
And this week we have some good news. We're bringing on some organizers that formed the second union of Barnes and Noble in the country, located in Hadley, Massachusetts, so right in our backyard. And this is an example of, Joanne and I like to use the gardening metaphors, and this is an example of a flower popping up in a sea of weeds. So we're really happy to have you all on. And as always, everybody, just a reminder to go to the website, www.theweedout.com, for anything we reference. So if it goes by too fast, we make sure to link any relevant information, social media profiles, et cetera, any ways to get in contact, whatever the episode's about. So always feel free to fact check us or, get the resources that we're discussing. That said, I'm really glad that everybody's tuning in again. And last couple weeks have been kind of so we're happy to have victories, and this is a big victory. And I don't know, I don't really have much more to say other than Joanna, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's April, so it's the warm season, so I'm always getting better and better
Mhm.
during this time of year, as you know. And it's garden season, that's a good thing too. But yeah, I'm psyched to talk about unions. The Barnes and Noble, the group of union organizers that we have with us. I know they have established the intent to unionize, and it's really exciting. And I'm just happy to dive in.
So yeah, just welcome everybody. We have I'd love you all to introduce yourselves. So we'll start with Izzy, and Izzy is since this is her Zoom channel.
Hi, I'm Izzy. I'm a barista at Barnes& Noble Hadley.
Wonderful.
My name is Lainey. I'm a lead bookseller at Barnes& Noble.
My name is Talia, and I am a bookseller, and I manage receiving at the store.
Cool. Well, you and I have a lot in common. We check a
Oh
lot
yeah.
check a lot of lists and go.
Yes, lists, boxes, and trucks. Very familiar with all three.
You get to deal with. I mean, granted, I'm in food, you're in books, but it's the same process, I imagine. Except yours is probably a lot drier
Heavier? Yeah.
and denser. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
fish toast full of ice can sometimes be dicey when you're in the back of a
Oh,
truck.
I would assume so. You have a much more precarious dealing with perishables and things like that. The only thing I'm worried about is if I get crushed under a pile of books, which I mean, workers' comp, so there's that to look forward to. But
No, we don't wish cast things like that.
oh, that's true. That's true. We're talking about exciting good things on the podcast today. Yes.
Right. But yeah, just please, Joanna, take on the conversation, and then when I have dumb guy questions.
You're not a dumb guy, but you can have questions.
Minded question.
So I can take on this though. So really exciting about the union intent to form. I guess what I would love to know, as someone who, once I kind of shared with you before we started recording, so I'll let the audience know, like I wasn't always in a union, but my job gives me the opportunity to have that as something that I can be a part of, and I see more and more in across the country interest in unions forming, and we've had Trader Joe's and Hadley form a union recently. So I guess whoever would like to, all three of you feel free to answer this, but I just wonder what started the idea of the union forming. Like where did you, and was it one person or was it a group that met together? Like how did it start?
So there had been some stuff going on, but we kind of had this like bigger event that I won't get into that kind of put it in my head. I was like, a lot of people are very unhappy right now.
Mhm.
And I think this is the time to have a conversation about it. So I talked with someone in Cafe who is part of our organizing group as well. And kind of we were like, yeah, I think this is a good time. So I had some friends that were out on the book floor that I knew from like interacting on social, and between me and Cafe and Clark and Laney on the floor, we just gathered people, and now we have like most of the store in our organizing committee, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So
That's a fantastic.
I don't know if you guys have anything to add on your
We
experience.
really do. Like,
That's cool.
yeah. We had been kind of, I mean, like all of us here have been working at the store for a while. Like, I've been 3 years, and I think Lainey and Izzy have been 2, almost three
Yeah.
and 2.
That was like a month after you, I think.
Yeah. So we've been here for a while and kind of seeing the consistent like mistreatment of employees or like workers' rights violations, and it's been a running joke in the store for a very, very long time. Just like things get bitter, and it's like, oh gosh, you know what we should do? We should really start a union. And then
literally gonna say
it's
because I was,
been
like,
it's
we've
been a
been
joke
joking about it for so long, and then like this kind of inciting incident happened, and then I think I actually think it was you that came to me and was like, again, hey boy howdy, and I was like, you know what, you're so right, like this cannot be a joke any longer. And like I feel like it really spread like wildfire. Like
Yeah,
I
it
feel
did.
like the time between initially you guys meeting with the rep and our first meeting, which was like a pretty large meeting, was very short, which was like super, super exciting to see. So
It just helps because we were already all close friends in the store. Like I can't think of anyone in that store that I'm not happy to have like a friendly conversation with. Some are more acquaintances and some are more of like friends at this point. But because we already all had those relationships together, it was really easy to just kind of be like, hey, I know you're suffering right now. You want to join this fun little group?
It's kind of the ideal situation, really. And our union rep loves to talk about like the 5 steps that like come with organizing, and the first step is always a conversation, and kind of like a conversation about, hey, I'm feeling this, are you feeling this, or like I was treated this way, were you treated this way, and you know, what is something that we can do about it? And this is the thing that we're trying to do about it, hopefully.
Yeah, so I guess what will your next steps be? I know the announcement was it April 17th? It was a Monday.
Yes, it was. Good job.
Yes. So well, I had hoped to be there, but I couldn't because of work. So, but I was very excited to see that you had an outpouring of support from the community as well.
Oh, we really, really did. It was lovely to see.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So after you form the intent to unionize, what will happen next? Just for the audience to know.
They choose to respond. And I mean, we've seen a couple examples of how the company might respond given Rutgers filings. So that's been instructional, helpful to know what to prepare for. But basically, we're doing stuff like this with you guys, and seeing kind of what the counter is. I don't know if y'all have anything to add.
Yeah, no, I definitely like continuing to get our social media growing and supporting is something we're still working on. We're waiting on the response. We haven't really seen too much of a like,
oh gosh, no,
a response.
Yeah.
Weirdly, I think it's kind of right now feeling like management is walking on eggshells because they're waiting for word from their management. And we have had a corporate guy that has come in, but the times that he's come in, he has only talked to managers. So we have not been talked to really at all. So we're kind of waiting for the response that we're expecting. It hasn't come yet, but we are expecting it and we are waiting for it.
We're having like a filtering down of stuff that has been like issued to Rutgers, who filed about a week before us. And seeing some of the company's response to them, some of like the anti-union propaganda that they've been putting out into the store. It's also different because they are Barnes & Noble College, they're through educational, and we're just a regular old retail establishment. So how the company approaches us might be different, but Board of Labor. And then after that, if they challenge our petition to unionize, that's when they kind of put in any injunctions that they kind of feel, any kind of problems they have with how we want to like organize, and reasoning for organizing and all that stuff. And after we clear all of those away and get those out of the way, we get an election date. And so we're kind of just like waiting in patience and
With bated breath.
yes, for this election date to come down the pike and see what the company is going to throw at us, because that's one of the big things when it comes to unionizing, is kind of watching out for how they're going to come back at you and kind of try to scare you into not standing up for being treated well. So, and we're just waiting on that. And when the election day comes around, we're hopefully going to have the community out in support of that too. And that's when stuff gets real. Yeah.
For sure. Then you can start the like organizing and collective bargaining. But I would also be waiting in anticipation. I mean, whenever you submit anything at work to someone higher, it's you know, kind of like, what are they going to say? So especially about this, I would be like, oh my goodness. I can understand why you really want to hear back. And I can also, you sounds like you guys like are working with a really knowledgeable rep who's giving you a lot of guidance, which is great because
Oh gosh, yeah.
like you said, like you're waiting to see, and you've seen like other responses that could come back, especially in like the corporate side of things when negotiating. And so you're like prepared. Like it can be kind of like a back and forth. And I'm sure like other stores, they may want to try to prolong the vote as long as they can. But please do keep speaking out to the community and local journalists, because I know we are all interested in what's going on and supporting you. And I think that's just fantastic. So we'll share your social media on our website, and I'll boost it on like all the places if you'd like. So I'll share it with our audience, and hopefully you can get some more followers that way too.
Oh, heck yes. Thank you so much.
We'll always take a social media promotion.
Fucking hilarious to me that you met with the rep at Starbucks across the street. I know you
exactly. Yeah.
I have to remind anybody listening, if you're not aware, Howard Schultz, CEO of Starbucks, is under a lot of fucking scrutiny for union busting, and our current U.S. government, to actually look into that, it must be bad. So I think it's good that, you know, it's a good tie-in and be like, hey, it's funny that you were meeting with the union rep in a Starbucks.
Yeah, kind of a stick it to you kind of thing.
But also, we were all commenting on it because when he pulled out the cards, we were like, like we're about to make some managers shit their pants right now.
And if I'm a poker player, which I'm not, but like the reality is Starbucks prints money. I mean, and then Barnes and Noble, it's fighting for its fucking life. That industry in general, like they're not immune to Amazon. They're not immune to e-readers. You know, they're not immune to any of that shit. And so like you know, in a way, this is just my opinion. The workers actually have a lot of leverage here.
In a way.
The funny thing about the timing of this is, from what we've seen, like, so Barnes and Noble right now is at like a huge, they're making a lot of money. I think especially because of Book Talk.
I'm sorry, they found ways to value add. I mean, they have a bait, but you're in 3 different departments, you know, like you know, anyways, they have food there, they have this, they have that. And I'm sorry, you're gonna, what have they done? I was
gonna say, namely TikTok. There's like, they call it Book Talk, like that side of things, where a lot of series and authors are like blowing up like crazy. I think has especially added to Barnes and Noble's popularity because they're all over the place and all sorts of people have access.
Yeah, it's been a really, really lucrative past year for the company.
They're opening new stores.
Exactly.
All over the place this year. And what's funny is we're watching them do that while we talked about this in our letter a bit, they're slashing our hours and keeping a lot of us at minimum wage, even though like we worked there for years. I worked there for 3 years and I still make minimum wage.
I've worked there for 3 years. I am still part-time at minimum wage. And and laying.
Yeah, no, it is funny because like, just like they said, like, I mean, Barnes and Noble has been expanding a lot recently. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like wild to me because I have been here for almost 3 years. and the fact that Barnes and Noble has like somehow managed to just continue to keep everyone's like starting pay at minimum wage. And I feel like people kind of like to think because of Amazon that like Barnes and Noble is like your local friendly indie bookshop sometimes, but it's not. Like
No.
we're a huge corporation,
Yes,
and if you can afford to open up a bunch of stores, then you should be able to afford to pay people coming in, a livable wage.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm.
And there are 600 stores nationwide. So, and like you said, there are more coming. So they definitely are paying, probably like other corporations, the people at the top the most money, and forgetting about the workers. And you're right, solidarity completely. Like they're using austerity measures with work. It's unacceptable at this point. We've all been through so much, including the pandemic, for workers to be treated that way as workers.
Yeah, I was hired during the pandemic. I started working August of 2020. And I am still part-time at minimum wage because the funny thing that Barnes and by funny I mean absolutely
backhanded. The way that Barnes Noble keeps its pay down, or like the amount it pays its workers down and its hours down, is that every single worker to be full-time, to get full-time hours and to have full-time pay, needs to take on management responsibilities. So Lainey is a lead bookseller. So that means that when our manager or assistant manager, store managers aren't in the store, Lainey is considered the manager on duty. Lainey opens the stores, has keys to the store.
I'm basically a manager, but like without the title because they got rid of that.
Yeah.
So, which is why I can be here. So I guess that's good.
Yes, that is the bonus, is that Lainey is able to help in this and be able to vote. But unless you are a key holder and have those responsibilities for opening the store, like closing the store, registers, all that type of stuff, you are part-time. You cannot be full-time unless you fulfill management roles. And even then we have someone on staff, Anna, who is fantastic and lovely, and she was hired within this past year, and she is head of commerciality. So she works on displays, tables, making the store look beautiful, and she's fantastic at her job. However, she is still part-time at minimum wage, and the tasks that they give her to complete by the end of the week are things that can only be completed at full-time hours, and she's not paid for this extra job that she does. Just like how I am not paid, I started in cafe, and then I moved to the book floor, and now I'm in receiving, which is a lot. It's like an entire microcosm of the store. Same with like the kids department. There are different aspects of the store and so much to manage and take care of, and I'm still minimum wage. It's just and that's how they keep it down, is like, unless you fulfill management roles, you're minimum wage and part-time.
And do you get extra pay though? Like, so when you're in that role?
No.
Oh wow.
Because they don't change your title at all. They just kind of put you somewhere.
Yeah.
Do they get paid for the hours worked?
For hours worked,
Mhm.
but that's it. And it's not to air her stuff out. It's minimum wage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was also gonna say I briefly worked in the Albany store, because I went to school for a year out there, and that's when I moved over to cafe. I was book floor before that point, but I had a performance review while I was over in Albany, and I was told during that performance review that the company decided to remove monetary raises from performance reviews. And I thought that was the whole entire point of why we do performance reviews, was to figure out if you have worked.
Love the company enough.
They were like, we don't want to tie your success to your money, and I'm like, that's the whole point of me being here. I do my job well.
I am working hard, so you pay me well.
So he told me, the store manager over there told me explicitly that they removed raises from the entire process, and now the only way for you to get a raise is to take on more responsibility in your job. And like,
And even when you do that, you don't get the raise.
I was gonna say, like, how do they track
So-
that or like come up with a like, you know what I mean, a dollar
So
amount?
it's baiting, like, and they've done this
Okay.
with other employees in the past where they're like, oh yes, just like perform as the role of assistant store manager, and then if you do well in that performance, then we'll promote you. They like hang
Okay.
this little bone in front of your face for months and months and months and months, and it's with the promise of promotion, and it's not, it's just baiting you.
So like in Albany, I was doing really well over there in cafe. Cafe is really like where I feel best in the store, because like I said, I was on the floor before, but I just felt so much better in cafe. And I was doing so well there, and a lot of the upper management there just kind of left, and the people that were seniors and stuff were all gone. So we were running on half of a cafe manager, and then they needed more people to move up. So I was told during that performance review that I was talking about that they could not just bump me up to senior, even though he would have if he could have. He told me he had to put me on a timeline in my review. So in the comments at the bottom, he had to put me on a 6-month timeline to become a senior barista. And I had to list out the things I was going to do in that 6 months as my development for how I was going to move towards that role. And then within that 6 months, I ended up transferring back to the Hadley store. And I was like, is this going to interrupt my timeline? And he said, it should absolutely not. I gave you one of the best performance reviews I've ever given a barista, not to toot my own horn,
No,
but like
actually, she is
he told
fantastic at
me
her
that.
job.
And so I got over to Hadley, and I kept bringing it up and bringing it up and bringing it up. And then the cafe manager and our lead barista right now like really want me in this role because they want to be able to give me the responsibilities, because we need it over there right now. We're bare bones crew right now. And I have been told and told and told, they're like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And then a couple Sundays ago, they told me that that the cafe manager and the store manager had sat down and done my review and said there's absolutely no reason that I shouldn't be moved up. And it still has not happened. And I have a feeling it's now not going to happen with everything going on. And it's just like, how long do I have to like sit like a dog and wait for this to happen? Like how I'm doing a lot of stuff. I basically am the only one that posts on our like the store social media. Like if you see a cafe post, I did it. It was me. That's like,
So you run the cafe social media for them.
well,
Basically.
like I was given access to it a couple of weeks ago, and then I kind of just like I get excited to make the cute little posts. It's fun.
Totally.
So like, and I just kind of ended up like I become the person that just does it now. So
That's fun. No, that's great. It's just like you said, you'd want to get compensated for that role, so that I can understand the frustration. I have a question though. Like, did they explain how they come up with giving you raises then? So it's just that process, and then eventually you might get one, basically?
yeah. So well, sorry. Oh,
Because I have like a similar process in my union, but like you do eventually potentially get a raise, if that makes sense. But it's interesting for them to remove like what is the merit in like your, you know what I mean? How do you step up? And it sounds like what you said, they're just kind of pushing it off as long as they can.
Yeah, they recently like restructured everything. And so they like changed the roles that people have, the titles, and then they changed the way they do like reviews and raises. And so I mean, I'm sure somewhere someone up there was like had this idea with good intentions, but it's very structured now. It's very based on like, your position. So basically the only way to get a raise is to move up in the company.
Move into a new role. Okay.
Exactly. So it's not based on like seniority or anything beyond that shifting of roles. And then like, everyone gets like a 2% raise every year, blah, 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 blah. But like, but they're kind of like, oh, isn't this so great? Like, now pay is standardized, like everyone at the same level will be making the same thing, which like is great in theory, but that doesn't account for a lot of things. And I think it has, allowed them to use like promotions as kind of a way to get people to do jobs that aren't theirs, because much like retail across the board, we're running on much less manpower than it really takes to run a store, and they're kind of like, how much can we get away doing this. And it's not, I think, anyone in the store, consciously, but this is why, at least to me, it feels really satisfying to be like engaging in this like process of filing for the union, because I'm like, really, the things that we want aren't things that people can easily accomplish at the store level. Like, it's gonna feel really good, hopefully, to try to like get in there and bargain with the people who like
Can make those
set the little
decisions.
fake numbers that we have to run our whole lives based on.
Yeah. Because that was
Yes.
the big thing with this. Like, it's not even like, we've even heard our store manager like complaining about like things that are out of her control, like hours. Because I fully believe if she had the hours to give, we would all be scheduled. Yeah. Honestly, she's not even in charge of our schedule anymore. They outsource our scheduling to another store.
Our schedules are done by like our cluster. So like our stores in the area, I believe it's Holyoke, Pittsfield,
And Millbury.
and Millbury. Yes. The schedules are all done by one person who does not know the needs of the people in the store, but because like it's so that person gets paid a little bit more, and so
Not even though.
not even
Even the managers are getting screwed.
yeah.
I was gonna say, are they like a regional manager type person that's supposed to go to like each place? at least?
Assistant manager at
Assistant
Holyoke
Oh, wow.
does our scheduling, and
That's so weird.
isn't it? And we are
Yes.
a little bit blessed just because she used to work at our brand, so she does know some of the people in the store that she is scheduling. But for the people in like Pittsfield and Millbury, like she's never met these people in their entire life, but she is scheduling their work life and like dividing up their hours, and it's just it makes no sense. And like scheduling is severely inconsistent, and especially at our branch, there have been times where people have their schedules have been changed without like letting them know, and then we get a call in the morning, it's like, hi, why aren't you here? I was like, no, I was scheduled at 12. It's like, no, you're scheduled at 9, and like no one let anyone know. It's just it's really, really frustrating.
That is frustrating. And I wonder, so it sounds like management is also kind of bare bones though too. So that's what makes it hard, because then
Yeah.
they want people on the floor who are not managers to do those roles to kind of fill in the gaps when the managers aren't there, right?
Oh yeah, everybody
Yeah.
is suffering. It's like
Yeah.
it's we know for a fact it's not just the part-time employees. Like every single person is affected by this. Like
Right.
management too, like just disregarded by corporate and the precedents set by corporate on how they structure their hours, their scheduling, and their payment. Just every single person is just not getting what they deserve. And so this is hopefully like a step in the right direction for like Barnes and Nobles all across the country, because like
We're under the same guy.
we're under the same guy. We all have the same person who is causing all of this strife, because we know it's not just us. It can't be just us. So like we're hoping to set an example. We are at a very crucial point to hopefully set a precedent. And like we didn't even know that Rutgers was going to file before we did, and we filed within a week of each other. How that's so crazy.
Yeah.
So Union rep just randomly sent us videos of
Yeah.
them at their store, and we were like, wow.
Wow. And so like we didn't know about that at all. And so like the coincidence of that is just amazing. So we're hopefully trying to be at the pivotal point of like, look, we can do it too. And we have a small store, but we're so tightly knit. And I think that's probably, we are too. We're waiting for the other shoe to drop, because we haven't
It hasn't yet.
we haven't faced much I would say any union busting yet, which we're very much prepared for, because if Rutgers is getting it, it's going to be down the pike for us as a purely retail establishment, not linked to a university. So we're ready for it, but the wait is slightly anticipatory. Like
Every day I walk into work, I'm like, is today the day that someone wants to be here?
Wow. That's like you said, just the coincidences of it lining up or make it more, I guess, just exciting. In the way we're like, oh wow, this feels like it's really coming together, and you can do it. Like, thank you all for saying that, because this is this is just the type of thing that spreads once other community members in similar types of jobs probably feel a lot like all of you. And I'm sure there are many people, especially in Western Mass, that would love to support you. So how can people who maybe weren't at your last event where you announced your intent to unionize, how can they support you now? You mentioned following you on social media, so they'll be able to find that through us. But are there other ways that they can? Could we reach out to the store and say that we're in support as customers of this union happening? Or like, what are some things we can do?
I think.
Or do we wait, or do we need to wait for now and hear more soon?
There is the wait for the election day. So
Okay.
when the store does get its election day on the day of the election, we are going to have a rally at the store. So we do want to invite any community members that want to come out and show support for unionized labor and unionized labor at this Hadley Barnes & Noble. Heck yeah, like, do come out. We would love to have you, all the pickets, all the support that we want. And once we win this vote, because we are going to win this vote, and the company is shaking in its boots, and I know it is, because we are going to win this vote. Once we win this vote and we start haggling with the company for the contract, you know, companies can take as long as they fucking want, just drawing it out and drawing it out. But our union rep has seen community pressure really does do much good in pushing companies to solidify contracts. So the time for the community to reach out to the company is once we've won this election and we start negotiations. If the company is scared enough by the public to push to get us this contract, to get us all these rights as workers, that is the time. And so we hope to let everybody know when that happens as soon as we win this damn vote.
I think also too, like, I would have to double check with them because I'm not 100% sure, but I think once we have like an election date set, I think there is more like leeway for people, like, you know, our rep has talked about like writing to the company, like just even then expressing public support, I think, you know, can't hurt, might help. As soon as we have a date in there, that is for sure.
I would say the big thing is definitely following our social media, because the second we need you, that is where we're going to let you know that we need you.
Very true.
Because we may need community support to even get an election date. There's a chance with the weird setbacks that the company might do in like refusing to recognize the legitimacy of our filing. You know, we may need community support there too, but like we will let you know right on the social media. That would be the best thing. Writing letters to the company 1000% is amazing. And honestly, just coming into the store, and if you see someone that has a UFCW button, say, you're awesome. You're doing amazing things. So like empowering us like while we're doing our jobs is amazing. So if you're ever shopping and you see a bookseller on their lanyard that has a little pin, or a barista like me with a little pin on their aprons, feel free to let us know that you love our pins.
We do have the pins on our lanyards, and the community has actually been really lovely about commenting on the pins so far. And it's just, it is like a little bit of sunshine in the day to know that we are supported, because the first couple days after this happened, like, my goodness, it was so stressful.
I've never been more stressed than
oh my gosh, it was so sick. It was so stressful. Especially considering like we do have management that we were considering might take this a little bit on the personal side, and like it's very, very difficult to not let professional issues become personal issues. And so we were very aware of the temperature change those first couple days. And so the booing that happened with the community and the little old ladies of Western Mass just like clocking our pins and giving us a little wink in support of the efforts that we're putting in is really, really lovely, because it's been a little scary. And
less so now. I think they told our general manager to play nice with them.
Yeah.
I've noticed a lot more better attitude around.
That's good though, because it is stressful. Like you spend time there throughout, like, you know, it's your job. So if it's already something that you just, it doesn't need to be a negative, like you said, personal thing. It can be professional. So it feels like all of you are organizing in a way that is extremely professional to even have that as a statement, because it's right. It's if they're not acting professionally or in good faith, you have a leeway, and the community, I think, for the most part in Western Mass, will be, I think, supportive. And
Oh
I
gosh,
hope
yeah.
I hope
Yeah, yeah,
people get out. I hope people get out there, and I know people that will want to write letters and come visit you in the store. And thank you for letting people know that they can tell you when they approach you that they're
Mhm.
excited, because that's good to know too.
Because we're excited too.
I
Like
can tell.
oh my
It's
gosh,
good. It's
we're
really
like-
good.
the
It's
fact
really
that-
good energy.
Yeah, the fact that we've been joking about this for so long and that this is an actuality is something that I didn't think I would see in my employment at the store. So it's very, very fun, and it's all happening very fast. Like it feels like just a little while ago we were just meeting in a local burger shop being like, oh, that looks really interesting. This is kind of the first steps of it. And now we're public, and it's just really rolling along quite nicely. And so I'm really excited to see, like what this holds for not only for our store, but also for like Barnes and Noble as a company. Like
Mhm.
you should be a little nervous. No, you didn't hear that from me, but I guess you did. It's on a podcast, but
Apropos that you call it a joke, or it started as a joke, because this late stage capitalism bullshit that they're circling the drain on, like it's so like Gilded Age comic book villainy that like
it really, really
Yeah.
is.
like earlier when I brought up Star, I was just comparing, selling coffee beans to books on a large scale. I think we're all fucked. The fact that
And he's right. Yeah, you're right. We are.
the minimum
We
wage,
have to keep fighting.
Yeah.
you say, oh, we all get paid minimum wage. The minimum wage doesn't meet the minimum standard of care. So it's like the minimum wage is for, like, that's not good either. Like, so even if you get paid a couple bucks above minimum wage, this is just me. If I would have my, if we have to negotiate with these crazy people, these,
We are currently in negotiations with the crazy people.
I'll meet you in the middle. If they don't have to know this, I guess it's gonna be on a podcast. So, like you said, settle for a $25 minimum wage. If we're gonna keep going this system around where you want wage slaves, $25, man. Like, and that's Western Mass. Like, I don't know. I don't know how my compatriots in Eastern Mass who are cooks or whatever pay the bills, man. Like, I don't know how you pay the bills. I don't know how you have fun. I don't know how you do it.
No,
And like,
literally.
life. I live pretty simply, but if I want to like buy a Lego set once in a while, I'm lucky. But like, I also like, I don't have kids. And I'm like, I bought a Lego set because I'm fucking 5 inside. You know what I mean? That's my dirty capitalism, like, secret. I like Legos. Useless, absolutely useless, but fun to do. Anyways,
Absolutely. We sell a lot of them at Barnes and Noble. We sell a lot of Legos.
Good plug. Good plug.
Bring it. The fish is gone. The fish is gone, so I don't have any emotional attachment to it anymore, which is great because tomorrow's a new day. Whereas the books are, it's like the mailroom. I bet the books just keep coming in there.
Oh my gosh, it is insane. It is insane because each like full size boxes that like we're receiving have about like 30 to 40 books in them based on like the size. And so it takes a while. People don't realize how long it takes because I sort them anyway. The company, some of the like the anti-union propaganda that we've been seeing at Rutgers, they just released a new flyer from the company, stressing that like union organizers are salespeople and they're selling things to you, and like you should be asking the right questions and you shouldn't feel pressured. And it's just so darkly comical coming from a major corporation that rakes in millions per year. It's like, yes, we are the salespeople, like beware the salespeople, but we are taught in the store how to set up the store in a way that traps people around tables that have books on them. Like,
don't even get into the table.
And we're the manipulators in all of this.
Yeah, I mean, it is comical, but also upsetting because I mean, thankfully, it sounds like they're bad at their propaganda. So
Oh,
that's
so far it's been laughable, but you know.
it sounds bad. It sounds like they're a little bad at it. So that's a
Well,
plus.
it's funny because they talk about like harassing the work. They're like, don't let the union harass you. It's like, buddy, we had 100, like what Rutgers, they had 100% that
There,
signed
that's
cards.
amazing.
Like,
Yeah,
you think they're
right?
feeling harassed? They already agreed to this.
Yeah. Like they feel more harassed by you than they do us, at least, if they're signing the cards.
That
And
was-
I do want to say, Spencer, like you made a good point, and this is just for any union organizing. The fight for 15 has, you know, Massachusetts does have a higher cost for living, and we do have that here. But the fight for 15 is something that I've been, as an activist and organizer, I've seen has been going on for now so long, that it's not even meeting the cost of living. So Spencer's right, like almost $25 an hour in Massachusetts keeps you at least able to live and maybe do a little something, you know, extra, and maybe save money, and do something else. When you're making less, you know, $15 in Massachusetts overall, you really are having to maybe have a second job or rely on other things. And I want people to understand in the audience that, like, if you're listening for somewhere where you don't have potentially, you know, the ability to know how it works in Massachusetts, sometimes people think the pay here is high, but it's not really, based on how much apartments cost or food costs or transportation, etc.
We live in the most expensive state
We
to
do.
live in the
We do.
entire 50 states of the US. Like this is the
Yes.
most expensive in terms of rent and in terms of like living costs. And so it's not ridiculous when it comes down to it.
It's not at all. So I'm super excited that unions have popped up, and especially yours, because it is a point, and there's a point where you know, union interest has peaked like so much, especially like we mentioned, because of, I think, in large part, once the pandemic happened, I think people in service positions and so many other positions really felt how hard that was hitting, because you were also then back working with the public pretty quickly, in sometimes situations that were maybe unsafe even.
Oh gosh,
Oh, for sure.
So I really think, I just can't wait to hear about the letter when you hear back. I'm going to be following your social media.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
I'll
Yes,
post
yes,
it
yes.
the second weekend.
And we're going to have you back on when you get to start negotiating, so we can hear how things are going, because we are going to be, we're huge supporters already, and we're going to just keep staying by your side, because, you know, in solidarity, I know I want the audience to also know it's you guys sound so excited. I'm so happy with your energy, but it is a lot of work. So I want everyone to know that too. You are meeting for long hours. You're negotiating with all of the people that you work with, and you all have to agree and compromise and come up with things. So thank you for putting in the work and being an example in the community. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, thank you.
We're honored.
No, and I want to. You read my mind when you said energy. Because what do we say here? You got to match energy, and like for ghouls like this, you need to bring like that Care Bear joy energy.
Yeah.
It's their kryptonite, man. Like I'm telling you, like nothing will. It's like okay, there's a Simpsons episode that I rewatched recently. It's really old. It's like the 3rd season maybe, and Homer accidentally leads the Union into a strike.
Yes. I was just about to talk about that episode. Yes, and he accidentally leads the unionization, and he has no idea he's doing it, but like he eventually he settles with Marty Burns. I've been thinking about that this entire time. I really have.
It's so ghoulish, and you know, Lisa's leading a like, you know, she's strumming a guitar or something because she's looking fun, and she's singing like a Union song, and
Bread and Roses, baby.
Prince
Yeah.
comes up like the Grinch out his little window, and that's the thing. It kills him, and that's the only thing. Like, you know, you got to fight fascists, and I'm not afraid to say it. CEOs are fascists. They're little fucking neo lords, neo feudal. And they lost their humanity at some point. I don't know. At least in their business dealings, they see everything as a number on a spreadsheet. They don't give a fuck about nothing below. And they couldn't survive. You know, I think we got rid of jails, and for white collar crimes, you have to go live on minimum wage, bitch.
Yeah.
That's jail to you.
Yeah, truly.
That's life for us. That's jail for you. So, I mean, I'm glad you're bringing that you're, like I said, not to, I hope this doesn't seem, I hope you take this as a compliment, because I mean it as a compliment, but the Care Bear star energy. Yeah.
Well, we're all such close fucking friends. Like,
That's so good though. That will be so helpful.
it's so wonderful to be going through all of this bullshit with people that like you really, really care about.
We are, when we have our meetings, our rep has such a hard time.
Truly, yes.
He's actually giving us this week off so long as nothing happens, so we can have a social meeting, get it out of our systems.
Well, that's important though. That's nice that he recognizes that part too, because having fun and joy and being social are so important in this process too.
Yeah,
that's definitely.
Just shout out your social media handles, and we'll also share it on our website. But just, if you want to shout them out now, that'd be cool.
Well, they're all the same because we kept it easy.
That's
it's
good.
BN Hadley Union. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. I think we are tentatively getting our Facebook up and going because we wanted to get the Facebook crowd in on it. We did have a problem because Facebook thought we weren't a real person. We had to be like, no, Facebook, we are a real person. But
Facebook participating in union busting? No. Never. They would never have a code that would automatically flag anything with union in it. They would never do that. Not, and I'm shocked Twitter, I mean, Elon's a famous union.
Oh my God. So I set up the account for Twitter, and it makes you like, you can't have an account unless you follow at least one person. And it was really funny because I was trying to find one that I was like okay with following just long enough to unfollow it. And the first couple, it was like SpaceX, Elon Musk, like, all his little accounts. And I was like, absolutely not. I had to scroll like way down to find like CNN. And I was like, okay, we can follow CNN for 2 seconds until I get some other stuff going on here.
My experience with Twitter recently, I've been a long time Twitter abuser and abuser. The Twitter thing that I noticed was right before he bought it and right after he bought it, I had been diligently blocking like literally every ad. Anytime an ad would come across, I would just block the account the ad's coming from. I was just like vindictively doing it. Block, not interested, block. Anyways, they ran out of ads, and all of a sudden the only ads that were coming up for me were Elon ads.
God, no.
I had that for a while
Like
too.
Elon's like book, like self-help. He has a self-help book or something. It's probably ghostwritten.
Yes, he does. It's in paperback and no one buys it. We can attest. No one buys it.
No way.
Yes, it's in our science section if you would like to walk past it and give it a begrudging look. But yeah, no one has bought it in the entire time that I've worked there. So 1+.
That is a plus.
Yucky man.
Yeah.
He could be like Don Jr., who like spent all his daddy's campaign money buying his books
I
back.
just got a Twitter notification about Elon Musk.
Oh,
That's scary.
Creepy.
That's too much.
Fucking guy, man. Talk about trying to buy the cool kids in high school. Like,
oh, yeah, really.
Yeah.
It's so embarrassing for him right now.
The thing about the blue checks.
Yeah.
Like, he started forcibly giving people them back, and they were like,
he's opening himself up to a lawsuit with that because it's like false endorsement.
yeah, because people had to tweet and they were being like, no, I did not pay money for this. I swear to God, I don't want it. They forced it on me.
Like LeBron's, image is worth whatever, whatever they
Yeah.
want in their imaginary land that an image is worth something. I mean, I'm glad. LeBron, no shade to you. Do what you got to do. So kind of a billionaire, so I don't know if I really like you. Regardless, like you're still swimming with these sharks and they're going to eat you. And Elon's trying to like assert his dominance and he might end up in a class action lawsuit. So,
And that's kind of like what we're actively doing at the store. Like the store is going to try to relate to us, going to try to tell us that, no, you're better off without a union.
Right.
Like we'll take care of you. It's fine. But like
these people make their money off of our labor. They like they are actively being paid to union bust. You go home to your children at night, kiss your spouse if you have one on the mouth, and it's like, hi baby, I had a great day today at work trying to dissuade workers from their rights. Like like what do you do?
No, it's like, how do you sleep at all?
How do you sleep?
Yeah, I forget what the event was, but our rep was actually talking about an event where like it was for union busters. They had like a convention where there was like a speaker, and
God.
she had to say, she was like, yeah, it's a hard time to be a union buster right now. Like, I can't talk about it with my kids because they're ashamed of me.
Yes.
Like they should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's bad.
Yeah, I'm ashamed of you.
We don't even know you, and we are ashamed of you.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the one thing I can't shake from my Catholicism is my ability to judge others. I mean,
Ex Catholicism.
well, yeah, recovering Catholic.
I am with you, my
Yeah,
friend.
recovering.
Raised a Roman Catholic at a Polish church, baby.
Yeah, Irish Catholic, yeah.
A little different, but you get the same message. It's the same deal. And at the end of the day, my name is on multiple pieces of paper in Rome, and it's like actually really annoying and frustrating without my consent with a bunch of pedophiles. So cool. Thanks, guys. Yeah, and that's where we're at. So fighting these ghouls, it requires joy. I just want to always bring it back to that, and it's really nice to have people that are so excited to damn the man. So good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, really congratulations. Keep up the like excited energy. You should be excited. It's wonderful that you have so many people in your store that want their to be able to bargain for their rights as workers. And you're all right that you should be frustrated, and you should absolutely be able to ask for more from, like Spencer said, these corporate ghouls who don't really give a flying fuck about us. So
Truly. Yeah.
and I will, like I said, we're gonna have to have you back on once you hear the results.
We would love to be
Yes,
back
thank
on and
you.
talk more about it, because this has been something that we've been working for so long.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and you're doing great. So again, you are gonna win. I completely agree.
yes, we are.
and you're gonna you might hear back some bullshit in between, but that's what happens. And I just keep fighting, keep looking at the other examples that you've all mentioned, and we're all gonna be we're all gonna be watching and supporting you from afar. So know that too.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Oh,
And do you have anything else you'd like to add before you sign off?
I mean, honestly, just like thank you, first of all, you guys so much for having us on. It's like always so fun and cool to talk about the work that we're doing and share it with everyone. And it's like so great to be able to share more and more as we go. And just like thanks everyone. Like, we had like such a good turnout from our initial filing, and it's like just good to know and like to be in solidarity with our community. Like I've never felt more like where I am.
Yeah. Also, hey, everybody listening to this podcast, do you work for a Barnes and Noble? Look at this. You can do this too. Are you
Heck
getting
yeah.
actively fucked? Do you love working with books, and do you like your coworkers? Talk about unionization. It's really cool. Yes. DM us, we'll help you. And there's pizza at all our union meetings. So you have that to look forward to too. So like really like
we just a pizza party.
yeah, exactly. We hope to set an example. We are going to do this, and everybody can fucking do this. People think because we sell books and pastries and coffee that this is a sweet and puffy company, and it is not. You are being taken advantage of. You are being taken advantage of, and it's time to do something about it. Join us, please.
Yes, please join them. Everyone unionize.
Yeah. Union for everyone.
Please keep your energy. You got good energy, and that's
Yes.
not to sound like all fucking spiritual, like right.
No, you're good. Go off. Yeah, you're good.
Like I'm a sardonic douchebag to people sometimes. I like seeing people who have just as much fire as me and seeing different ways of doing it, and it inspires me to maybe like I don't know, yeah, like you're getting actively fucked, and that's fine as long as it's consensual, but it doesn't seem consensual.
It's not.
And so yeah, I mean, thank you for bringing this like fire, but also you guys are happy to work together and
Yeah.
That's awesome.
to sharing more with what's going on. We're gonna stay with you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gorgeous.
thank you.
We'll be around.
Yeah, take care and thank you so much again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Bye.
Well, that was fun.
That was fun. Their energy, we've mentioned it a bunch, but it was really contagious.
Yeah.
And they are gonna win. Like with that type of attitude. Like I mentioned to the audience, like union work is really difficult. So I want people to know they're doing a lot of hard work and they may hear back. Like, they may stall. Like I have literally sat with the out of contract for 3 years at one point because administration will do that type of stuff. So they're prepared in a way where it's right. It's true. You do need to like the people you're working with. You need to, be able to organize and get together. And they're really experiencing that sense of community that all of us, long for and hope for, even if we're told that's not what we're hoping for as humans, but we are social people. So it's really just great to see that beyond co-working and friendship, they're also able to organize and do something in the community like that. I said it already. It's just a great example of what can happen when you work together.
I'm gonna segue from this ending on wow, these CEOs are fucking heartless, and the people that enable them and yada yada. Of course, like we're not. We have lots of people that say like holy shit, but they're still a minority of the population.
There's a small amount.
It's overcome. We can overcome. We have the numbers. We just got to get the information out. But anyways, talking about unempathetic CEOs, corporations, soulless. This is segues into ghoulery and tomfoolery, and it's our favorite corporation, ShotSpotter, who I believe last I read is changing their name, as like a image rehab because their product fucking sucks.
Yeah, it does.
It's ineffective.
Embarrassingly so.
Multiple episodes and multiple segments on ShotSpotter and how Holyoke had it. And so the ghoulery and tomfoolery is, of course, out of my personal favorite corporate media. It's like,
I'm sorry to laugh, but you definitely are their most engagement, I think.
if like, WCVB in Boston is like, that local corporate subsidiary is like McDonald's, like WWLP is like a Waffle House that never passed a health inspection.
I'm dead.
But it doesn't matter because I pay off the health inspector. Regardless, so they're in the news, WWLP, with their D-rate propaganda news. It's just they just regurgitate. And Gazette is guilty of this too, where
not as bad as WWLP's Twitter.
they reposted the
Twitter feed's unreal.
The Gazette posted an opinion article on a Saturday or a weekend edition from the ShotSpotter sales rep, like arguing in favor, like, and passing it off as like, this is some one man's, and they said like in small lettering, this is a ShotSpotter representative. So it's like, I mean, the neighborhood even knows what this fucking thing is about. Anyways, so WWLP put out an article, report 154 gunshots in Holyoke detected last month by newly installed ShotSpotter system. 150 rounds of gunfire in March, 1 month, right?
Yeah,
31
right.
days.
Disagree.
34 cents. Okay, so 100
strong disagree
of gunfire reported in March. 34 spent shell casings recovered. No gunshot victims found. 3 recovered guns. And then on top of it, like there was only 2 gun arrests, and then all the other arrests were like outstanding bench warrants and the like. But basically, it's like it's proving they post this stuff, and I'm just like, you're proving my point. This is a fucking dragnet. This is a reason to fucking stop and frisk people.
Yeah.
And no
And
way,
it's fear
150
mongering.
shots. There's 150 shots and no one gets hit. What is this? Face Off with Nick Cage and John Travolta? Like for real? Like how? Okay, that I don't buy that. Like I just don't. 150. Are the police shooting? Are the police setting these off? I mean, that's my conspiracy theory. You know, like don't take that seriously. That's not a real thought. But like, you know, this system has been known to have lots of faults, like doors, backfires.
That's what I was gonna say, like cars backfiring, and Holyoke is a community where there would
truck,
be a number of loud cars and trucks.
and like down in this area, it's all old roads and heavy machinery is running up and down it. I bet those things make a lot of fucking noise that might sound like a gunshot.
And just for the audience, we have other episodes, and you're so right, Spence. But in other episodes, we have cited Chicago and Pittsfield, Mass. Locally. And there are some people that even attended the Holyoke meeting where they implemented this to let them know the data from a non-shot spotter perspective. And it just shows that it literally picks up, like Spencer said, so many things that are not gunshots. It thinks that is a gunshot. It's just not. It's a faulty, very inaccurate. I think the number for Pittsfield was like under 15% accuracy. It might have been like 7%. I will fact check and post that, but it was really bad.
I'm gonna fact check if ShotSpotter is changing its name, because I remember seeing that and I gotta find that article.
But that article is just the police probably had PR.
Wait. The California-based firm will now be known as Sound Thinking.
God.
Though
So
ShotSpotter will retain its name as a product. So they're probably expanding their product line, actually.
Yeah, surveillance sound now, because they're like, oh, we are picking up all that other nonsense. We'll have to figure out how to smooth it out and tell what it is. And listen to you more.
Yeah, and again, it's just, yeah, if you put, I don't know, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Regardless, like, also, this is the one thing that, like, gun nuts, I'm convinced we could get some NRA people in on this, because because these are mostly brown neighborhoods. So I'm canceling out my thought, but funny thought. This is like so anti-Second Amendment.
Yeah, but people are being, I mean, the Patriot
You're in a
Act
poor
was,
neighborhood. Why is the assumption somebody's doing a crime and not defending themselves? Which is the whole point of the Second Amendment, to be able to defend yourself, supposedly.
not en masse, though. No one, I mean, and the Patriot Act happened and everyone let Obama sign it back. It expired and Obama signed it back in, and all the ghouls in all the places voted for it. So that's why we have this.
Yeah.
The Patriot Act.
Yeah, I understand, like, how, yeah, it's just,
it's bullshit.
It's a bummer. And just it's one of those things where it's like the logic makes no sense to me. Like, and this is where,
well, from a people's perspective, definitely, but a state's perspective, it makes sense, kind of.
anyways, it doesn't work. Chicago is a large case study. Philadelphia, I believe, was one of them, and then obviously Pittsfield. Pittsfield, don't forget, they're on the hook for a lot of money they do not have to pay for it.
And the community members fought it, and like that's the frustrating part, that the administration still went through with it, just like in Holyoke.
Police beg and demand resources and fuck all about down the line. Like, for example, in Northampton with the cloud service dash cam. Yeah, sure, you got a grant, you did this, you did that. Fine. But like the upkeep of these systems down the line, all these costs, you don't give a fuck about us. And it's trash. It's trash. You know, like we were saying in previous episodes, like, why can't we just have beans and rice and like fresh vegetables at City Hall? Like, why is that so fucking hard? But, you know, every pebble would have to be accounted for, every corn kernel. But ShotSpotter, green light, and then we're gonna scare the fuck out of the neighborhood with these stats.
That's what it's fear mongering.
Then it's look, you need us. Look at all these guns. Look at all these guns.
But if you're like a really, like, honestly, what you said though, it's like, why don't they have more, like, I don't know, so many things. It's so stupid. That's the thing that's upsetting. It's so stupid.
but that's why it's good we had the representatives from Barnes and Noble.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic, and they're gonna get their votes, and they're gonna get the union formed and start negotiating. It'll take some time, but hopefully we get to talk to them in the future and see where they're at.
Yeah, it was nice to talk to Izzy and Talia and Lainey, and it was just good to have a nice conversation. And I felt like, yeah, I'm really energized by them. So, I know we ended on the usual ghoulery and tomfoolery. Like we said, there's flowers growing, right? There's things growing, but you gotta still rip the weeds out and throw them in the compost heap because that's where they belong. And as always, 2 thumbs down for WWLP. 2 thumbs down. And also, like Captain Moriarty, you're still a GoBot Goebbels to me. So, that has his fingerprints all over it.
Oh yeah, it's probably just a press release from the cops sent to WWL.
Oh, it's a video too.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
I don't recommend it. Propaganda is bad for your brain.
I'm not gonna watch it.
Propaganda is bad for your brain. It's B-rate. It's basically like going to see like a really shitty horror movie, but like,
Oh god.
not
Not
like-
even good. It's not even good though.
yeah, it's a shitty horror movie because it is a horror.
But those can be good sometimes.
Yeah, but it's not like campy. It's
Okay.
it's like pathetic
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
absolutely devastatingly horrific. Excuse me.
Well, all we can hope is that in Holyoke, the people that are opposed to it will bring it back up eventually too.
Oh, I mean,
They absolutely will.
I will. Now, if I can build a coalition, we will see.
And I think there are others like you, definitely.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely, so there's hope, but regardless, the cops always seem to get what they want, but we're going to keep fighting. And we're also going to shout out the wins. So again, congratulations to the Hadley Barnes and Noble crew on having a successful vote for forming a union and on to the next step. And hopefully they don't get Howard Schultz's Starbucks level of interference. But we're with them. Worker solidarity always. And we're going to share all their information to go support them and follow their story. And we'll continue to share it on our social media, but we'll share that on ours. And as always, you can go to the website. Thank everybody. I thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and tell your friends. Word of mouth is how great. Like, rate, review, interact with us on social media. If you have any questions or if you have any shout out, if you have any suggestions for topics, you can email us, theweedout@gmail.com. So I don't know. That's all for me this week, but Joanna, please take it away.
Solidarity to our friends at Barnes and Noble and Hadley, and all union solidarity. And take care, everyone.